Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah and thank you for watching today's video. I like to make videos about once a week about makeup, beauty, skincare, a little bit of lifestyle thrown in there. And in particular, I like doing styles of videos like today's video, a project pan, and shop my stash, and kind of focusing on using what I have, and then also being more aware of my consumer habits when it comes to purchasing new makeup when I decide to do that. So if you want to see the items that I have been working on in my project pan, we will go over those in today's video and track my progress from the last month. Just a little quick intro about the project. I have chosen 5 makeup items to be working on at one time, and when I use one item up completely, then I roll it out and I replace it with another item to use. So I always have 5 items going at the same time, and I don't necessarily have to replace an item with the same type of product, if that makes sense. I think I kind of have been doing that anyway throughout the project, but just in case I'm feeling differently, like if I were to use up a primer, I don't have to replace it with another primer. I can choose anything that I feel like working on. So if you want to see the progress that I have made in the month of July on the 5 items that I have been working on, then just keep watching. So the first item I will share is the Hourglass 3-pan ambient lighting palette. As I've said before, I finished the bronzing powder in last year's project pan, and this year I'm working on this middle highlight powder. So here is where we are today. Very exciting. I felt like for some reason I wasn't feeling like I was making a lot of progress or headway on this product this month, but when I went back and looked at my progress photos from previous months, I realized I did make quite a dent. I kind of cleared out the rest of the corner down here, and kind of, it's hard to see, but I'm kind of starting to see pan around the edges up here. So as I've said a million times before, this is definitely going to be a long haul product because I really don't use a lot of it every time I use it. I do use it every day, just a light dusting over the high points of my face and then as my brow bone highlight. So it is going to take me the rest of the year, I think, to use this up, but I'm pretty happy with the progress that I've been making, and it will be super exciting to completely have an empty palette at the end of the year. So yes, this is where we are, and hopefully maybe by the end of next month I can kind of clear out this section and, you know, be making my way forward and kind of flattening. You can kind of see it's still a little raised in certain areas, maybe kind of flattening that out. So that will be the goal for next month. The next item I have is another powder. It's my powder bronzer, my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil powder. Here, it's just a mini version. Here is what we are looking like. I had repressed this, I think, in the last video, right before I filmed the last video. So I've been working through what I had repressed. Again, this is another product I felt like I wasn't seeing a lot of progress being made, but when I looked at the photos from before, I realized that I kind of cleared out a lot of the stuff up here, and you're seeing some pan poking through around the edges again. And there really isn't a lot in here. It's pretty flat. So I'm thinking, I don't know, I feel like I'm always overly ambitious and thinking how much I can use up in a month, but I'm thinking maybe by the end of September this will be done. So I think another 2 months on this and we might roll it out, and I think that would be the first time I've ever used up a full bronzer, even though this is just a mini. But I've really been enjoying this color. I think it's a good color for me, not too orange, not too gray. It's just a nice color to warm up your face. I can also contour with it if I want. So been really enjoying it, and I think I'm making pretty decent progress on this every month. Next, I will share the foundation that I have been working on. It's the Bite Beauty Changemaker foundation. And here is what we are looking like. It's easier to see in the back, I think. You can see there's some like painting, window painting going on. You can see through the bottle. It's hard to tell. And I've definitely squeezed most of the product down to this. So we are definitely nearing the end of this foundation, which I think is good and for the best because it does say 12 months on the back for expiration. And I know I have had this for over a year. I believe Bite Beauty announced they were going out of business in spring of 2022, so that's around when I purchased this. So at that point, this was already probably kind of old if it was being sold at discount, and then I've had it for a year. But so far, making good progress. I think I spoke about this in last month's video. This isn't my favorite foundation formula. If anything, at times it tends to feel a little like greasy or oily, if that makes sense. And we're getting to the point where this also is not quite the right color match for me. It looks fine now, but I think, you know, over the next month or two, if I don't maintain like the same tan level, this might start to kind of not be the right shade for me. So I think my hope and plan for this is if I can consistently use this just as much as I have been in this coming month as I had in the previous months of using this, I think by the end of August, I will be ready to call this finished. I don't want it to sound like I'm hate panning this or I'm using something I really don't like. I do like that I'm using this up and it's been good, but I think by the end of next month, I will be ready to move this out of my collection. I think I will have used as much of it as necessary to call it empty. I don't think I'm gonna reach the point where I need to cut it open and get product out. I think I'll just be able to squeeze everything out of here possible and then call it good. And I do think that that can happen within the next month. So fingers crossed, and we will see where I'm at the end of August. The next item is one that I had just moved in last month, and it is this Buxom lip pencil. It's a mini size or like a sample size that I think I got in like an Ipsy or a FabFitFun box many years ago, but I decided I wanted to try and use this up because it is so small and it's just a way to kind of get something out of my collection. And I think last month we were measuring it based on the label name. So I think there was a little lip symbol at the top of the word Buxom, and so I sharpened it down to the top of the letter B on Buxom. So I think that's pretty good progress. If I can basically sharpen it down one letter a month going forward, if not more, then I think that will be pretty good. My only concern is that the lid for this is quite long. So if I put it on, it almost fully already goes down to the end of the pencil. The end is just a little brush. But I think it should be okay as I get shorter and shorter if this just kind of doesn't get pushed all the way down so that I can keep using it, because that's quite a bit of product that wouldn't be usable if you were keeping the lid where it kind of naturally falls. So that seems kind of wasteful, but that's what I'm gonna try to do, is just not always push the lid fully down as I sharpen it shorter and shorter. But I am wearing this today, and I just put a little bit of the Fenty Gloss Bomb over top just to add a little bit of shine. So it's definitely kind of a darker color than what I would normally maybe wear in the summer day to day. But I have been very lightly lining my lips with it every day, just kind of making a base. So at least if my gloss or my topper rubs off during the day, this is kind of underneath to like add a little bit of color and like sustaining throughout the day. And then I also have been trying to use this as a blush. I had seen Sarah Rose Beauty do this with a couple of her lip liners, and I definitely think it's a way to kind of use lip liner a little faster. And like I said, this being kind of a darker color for my lips right now, it actually makes for a pretty good blush color. So what I do is I will just rub a little bit out on the back of my hand and then take like a stippling brush and get it on the brush and then pat it on my cheeks. So that is the color that I have on my cheeks today. It's kind of subtle, but I think the pink color of this is perfect for that kind of thing. So I'm definitely gonna keep using it as a blush going forward, and hopefully that will help speed up the progress on this, because I didn't really start doing the blush technique until maybe the last week of the month. So we will see going forward how much progress I can make in the next month, because even if I do only go down one letter a month, that's still, about 4 or 5 months left of using this, and I'd really like to use it faster than that. But we will see what I can accomplish on this in the next month. So my last product, surprise, surprise, is an empty, and it was the Catrice Mattifying Powder in Translucent. I had repressed this, I think, in the last video, and I have since used it all up. It looks like there's some in there, but it's just the pan. The pan got stained. So That is completely used up. I actually used this up maybe 1 or 2 days before the end of the month, so it was perfect timing. But I am very excited to have used up another powder slash another makeup product to get that out of my collection. As I've said before, I didn't dislike this product a lot, but it definitely wasn't my favorite powder, especially compared to some that I have used recently, like the Kosas Cloud Set powder, the CoverGirl Clean Fresh powder. I know in the past I've really enjoyed like the Maybelline Fit Me powder. So it's definitely one that I don't think I would be repurchasing. It just didn't quite do enough for me, even though it was supposed to be mattifying. I didn't feel like it was mattifying enough for my liking, if that makes sense. I also don't like that you can only buy Catrice either on the Catrice website or on Amazon. I don't like that. I'd prefer to just buy things either at Target or Ulta. So that also makes it kind of not appealing to purchase again. But all in all, glad to be finished, and now I can roll this out and pick a new item to replace it with. So even though I didn't make the rule that I have to replace a type of makeup product with the same one, I'm gonna do that anyway, just because I do have quite a few powders in my collection that I would like to kind of start working through and move out so that I can try out some new ones and get some different shades and finishes. So I'm going to replace it with this Maybelline Superstay Better Skin Powder. This is very old. Well, not very old. It's old. I know they have reformulated this. The packaging is different. So since this is the old version, I do want to use this up. I have the shade 30 Warm Nude. So that is that. And this is a powder foundation. So this is different than the Catrice one. This was a translucent setting powder. This is a powder foundation. So there's more color to it and coverage. And I think that will be kind of an adjustment for me after having a couple months of a translucent powder, but again, I just want to use this up. It's an okay color match for me right now because I'm a little more tan, so this is definitely the time of year for me to try and make progress on this. And as I said, I've had this before and used it many times, so I don't know if you'll be able to see, not really, kind of. I can already see the faint outline of the pan imprints, like the rings, or I guess they're square rings in there. So I'm thinking that maybe by next month I will have hit pan, even if it's very small, but we will see. So that is what I'm going to be replacing my Catrice powder with, the Maybelline Better Skin Foundation. So those are all of the items that I am working on in my project pan. Super excited to have used up another product and add that to my empties list. I will be going through all the empties, all my makeup empties in full at the end of the year, including everything I use up in this project. If you want to check out everything else that I have already used up in the project for this year, check out my playlist below. Thank you for watching. Please give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed, subscribe, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye.